With wind farms now appearing in all corners of the globe, the question becomes how efficient are they and how much actual energy do they generate? Further, what is their real potential to supply electricity to meet world energy needs?
75% comes from the thermal power. That means mainly come from the coal-burnt thermal power plant. And as to the renewable energy, it's only a very small amount. It's less than 1%.
India and China also have to realize that in the next couple of decades, the developing countries will be 60% of all the carbon emissions. They will suffer, perhaps more so because they're less prosperous and can adapt less well to the climate changes. Already China sees severe consequences of beginning to see severe consequences of climate change. They have, in the last year, woken up to the fact that it's no longer economic development as number one, and then number two would be economic development, and number three would be economic development. They're now saying that economic development has to go hand in hand with going into a more sustainable trajectory for the environment.
At present, we have about 130,000 megawatts of installed capacity. Ministry of Power estimates that in the next 10 years, we have to double that installed capacity.
It is true that China is building more than one power plant per week. It is true. In the year 2006, China built 70,000 megawatts of new capacity in 1 year. That's maybe twice as much as US. And a large percentage of that is coal, because they have a lot of coal. Now, what impact does it have globally? Because of the large coal burning, they will produce significant amount of CO2 and sulfur dioxide and the like. CO2 is a global warming gas, SO2 is an acid rain gas. So what can China do, and what China will do, I think, is they'll be looking at higher efficiency in their power plants, such that they'll be burning less coal per kilowatt hour electricity. Also, China is a special case. China has turned into the world's factory. I see many things. It says, designed in California, made in China. Designed in Germany, made in China. Designed in France, made in China. So design doesn't take a lot of energy. Manufacturing takes a lot of energy. So we have to be careful that if you put all this focus on China, we have to realize that China is making more goods, using more electricity, because the countries where these things have been designed used to manufacture them in their home countries. Now they don't. But those products come back to the source countries and being used. So we have to be careful in looking at what is the source of CO2, and we look at where is the product going, not only where it is being made. This, I think, is a new way of thinking. We have to be careful as we go forward.
Just to give you a sense of the amount of renewable energy that we have in this country today, it's more than 10,500 megawatts. Out of the 10,500, close to 7,500 is wind. Now that is about 8% of our total installed capacity. And to give you a comparison, we have nuclear, which is about 3% of the total capacity. So we are already almost 3 times that of nuclear, and we are growing at a much faster rate than nuclear. In the last 5-year plan, which ended in 2007, whatever was the total capacity added in this country for generation of power, almost 25% came from renewables. So it is not something that is, that can be wished away or that can be ignored. It is something very substantial. It is something very massive, and it is here to stay, and it makes sense.
India is following China's footsteps. Again, a lot of coal, some nuclear, very little, a little bit of hydro. Indonesia, a lot of coal. Any country which has a lot of coal will have the incentive to burn their own coal for their own energy security. these developing countries need to take into account opportunities for energy efficiency so that they will not have to retrace the path the developed world has gone through in reaching where we are today, so that Chinese and Indians, Indonesians and Brazilians don't have to be burning a lot of electricity to burn their incandescent lamps. They can straight away go from no electricity to using compact fluorescent lamps, bypassing the intermediate step and saving a lot of electricity in the process.